Hi, I'm Al Galvez. I'm a psychologist in Las Cruces, New Mexico. um, if you believe that mental illnesses are caused by brain disorders, biochemical imbalances, genetic problems, that kind of thing, if you believe they're essentially physiological in nature, and if you're acting on that belief, you're hurting yourself. You're hurting yourself badly. And the reason you're hurting yourself is you're losing an opportunity to get to know yourself. And getting to know yourself is big time. Getting to know yourself is basically how to live a good life. So let me explain. The symptoms of mental illness are states of being, moods, behaviors, intentions, emotions, perceptions, etc. Right? That's what they are. Um, and basically, uh, the causes of mental illness, what mental illnesses are reactions to your life situation, to what's going on in your life, and to concerns you have about your life and yourself. That's what mental illnesses are. They're reactions to your life situation, to what's going on in your life, and to concerns that you have about your life and yourself. That's what they are. So the symptoms are the path to self knowledge, to self awareness. The symptoms are there to tell you about yourself and to tell you um, basically what's going on in your life and how you're living your life and how you're coping the best you can. Uh, that's what the symptoms are there. I mean, that's what they are, right? So by exploring the symptoms and by really looking into them, you can learn about yourself. You can learn some really important truths about yourself, and you can get to know yourself. Not just the part of yourself you like, but the part of yourself you don't like and you wish weren't there. So let me explain. I give you some examples. Now, the examples I'm going to give you are just thoughts that I have. Everyone is different. Everyone is unique. When you take a look at your symptoms, uh, they're going to be different. They're going to be unique to you, and you are the only one who knows what they mean. Okay? But let's take depression, right? Depression. Basically, you're sad, persistently sad. You're not interested in things you used to be interested in. You're sleeping more, sleeping less, eating more, eating less. You're having excessive thoughts of guilt and excessive thoughts of guilt. You're tired a lot. You're feeling jittery or slowed down during the day. You're having difficulty concentrating or making decisions. You're having recurrent thoughts of death and suicide. What's going on? Well, depression happens when you have lost something really valuable. And it doesn't have to be a person. It could be a sense of security or a sense of adequacy or a sense of safety. Uh, you lose anything important and you're very likely to get depressed. Depression is also what happens when you have deep concerns about your life. When you're not sure that you're going to be able to live the way you want to live. You got some concerns about that. You're going to get depressed. And the depression is very helpful because the depression is going to force you to go inside and deal with your life. So that's what depression is, and that's what what happens to people when they're depressed. So this is an opportunity to deal with your life and to tell yourself the truth about your life Attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. What's going on? That happens when you're being forced to do something you don't want to do. Um, you don't want to do what you're being forced to do. Um, you um, there's a big problem in your life you're not dealing with, and until you deal with that, you're not going to be able to concentrate on anything, or it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to concentrate on things. Social anxiety disorders, social phobia, agoraphobia, not leaving the house, not wanting to be around other people. Or when you're around other people, you can't be around them for very long before you get agitated and 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 uh, stressed, right? Well, that happens when you don't want to be evaluated by other people. You're tired of being evaluated. You don't want to be evaluated. Or it happens when you don't want to deal with the world. You want to be out in the world. The world is not a safe place for you in various ways. So that's what happens. That's what happens with social anxiety disorder. Um, bipolar disorder, right? Bipolar disorder. You've had a manic episode for a week long period. You've have expansive mood, grandiosity. I can do anything I want to do, or maybe irritable. You're easily distracted. You have pressure to speak. You have racing thoughts. You're working on something 21 hours a day. You're engaging in dangerous behavior. You're having sex with people you don't know. Uh, Entering into business deals that are probably not a good idea. Buying things you don't need. That kind of thing. What's going on? Well, what's going on is you've had pressure on you to be very successful, to be extremely exalted, and to be special, and you can't do it. You're unable to do it, so you're going to have the illusion of it. You have a manic episode, you have the illusion. Or you're tired of having to live the daily, everyday life that we live. You're tired of having to make the decisions we have to make. How am I going to use my money? How am I going to use my time? Where am I going to live? What kind of work am I going to do? Who am I going to love? Uh, who am I going to be married to? These are really difficult decisions. In a manic episode, you don't have to make those. You can do everything. Obsessive compulsive disorder, what's that about? Basically, what that's about is you are really unable to accept the fact that the things that can really hurt you in the world, you don't have control over. And that's not anything you're able to accept. And so you over control the things you can control so you can feel more comfortable. So you lock the door 10 times, you wash your hands 20 times, you go through mental rituals, you don't walk on the cracks in the sidewalk. You control the things that you can control so you don't have to accept the fact that the things that can really hurt you, you don't have control over, right? Panic disorder. What's panic disorder about? Panic disorder happens when you're facing a difficult dilemma. And the dilemma is so difficult, you don't even want to know what it is because it doesn't have a good outcome. It has a better one, but not a good one. Well, you don't want to even know what it is, but your body does. And your body is telling you, hey, you got to deal with this. And it gets revved up. That's what panic disorder is. Schizophrenia, the most serious mental illness. What's going on there? Schizophrenia happens when a person has been hurt badly. They've been discounted, put down, rejected, dishonored, abused, hurt. And they don't want to live in the world the way it is or with human beings the way they are. And so basically they create their own reality. They create a reality in which they can survive and move towards healing and recovery. Or another way of putting it is their psychic energy attaches to a more powerful but imaginary part of themselves so they can survive in this toxic world with toxic human beings. That's what schizophrenia is. So you get the idea that all of these disorders, so-called disorders, and we ought to see them not just as disorders, they're also wake-up calls, they're signals, they're messages, they're opportunities to grow. And so what I'm suggesting to you is that look at the symptoms and use them to learn about yourself, to learn the truth about yourself and what you're scared of, what you're worried about, what you don't like, what you want, what you care about, all of those important things. Use the symptoms. Now, why do I say you're hurting yourself if you believe that mental illnesses are caused by brain disorders, biochemical imbalances, and genetics? Well, I'm telling you that because if you believe that, you're going to take a pill and you're going to lose this opportunity to learn about yourself. So basically, yeah, that's it. That's the message.